Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing Transmission. This is your host, Mr.BDA. I hope everybody's doing fine out there. Now let me tell you something, we've all been doing fine, I know. When it comes to boxing, we've had a couple of good months already in the month of August. We got about 4 months left, some pretty jam-packed months ahead, and some potential mega fights in the horizon. Maybe not in 2018, but definitely in 2019. Now, one of the big stories out there right now is Mikey Garcia, who just defeated Robert Easter Jr. by unanimous decision, and he's been talking prior and post-fight about wanting to fight Errol Spence at 147. Now, I'm gonna do a little experiment here, and I'm gonna follow a line of thinking, a line of logic that's been applied to other fighters, and see if it can be applied to Errol Spence here. All right. Mikey Garcia says he wants to fight Errol Spence. Shane Mosley just came out on Boxing Scene and said he's not sure whether that's fearlessness or stupidity. Mikey Garcia's father, Eldon, he came out and he said he doesn't want to see his son fight Errol Spence. He would rather see him fight somebody his own weight. And there's people out there saying, well, listen, Guillermo Rigondeaux was allowed to fight Lomachenko at 130. Why shouldn't Mikey? And I don't understand that logic when they say, well, Rigondeaux was allowed. Who allowed him? The fans allowed him? The fans don't decide shit. You've been watching boxing long enough, you know that. Boxers do whatever they want to do at the end of the day. They're the ones getting in the ring, and whether it's to their detriment in terms of popularity or whether it makes them popular, you know, it's up to them to decide depending on their choices. But if they want to play it safe, they can certainly do so. We've seen fighters do that, and we've seen some fighters get rich off of doing that. So I don't understand this whole thing that, oh, well, if Rigondeaux did it, then Mikey Garcia should do it. And it was also different styles. Is Lomachenko Errol Spence? Does he fight like Errol Spence? Errol Spence is fighting in a weight division that I don't know how long he's going to be in there for. He's a very big welterweight. Lomachenko, meanwhile, he deserves to be at 130, 135. He even could be still making 126 if you think about it. And he fights nothing like Errol Spence unless he's fighting outmatched opposition whose punch he doesn't respect, and then he could walk people down. So that Rigondeaux versus Lomachenko, and comparing that to Mikey Garcia going up to 147, I don't see that happening. But I'll tell you this, as big a fan as I am of Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence, at the end of the day, if they want to get it on, you know, Errol Spence did travel to England, something not a lot of people do, you know, travel overseas and take on the home fighter, and he was able to stop Kell Brook, didn't even let it go to the decision. So I've said it before, Errol Spence, I'm a huge fan of his, but I gotta wonder though, and here's where I said this, I gotta follow the logic here that other people have applied. When Gennady Golovkin was at 160 and Canelo didn't want to fight him, a lot of people were saying, listen, move up to 168 and fight Andre Ward. Oh, he's not fighting Andre Ward, he's ducking Andre Ward. Why doesn't he fight Andre Ward? He's got nothing left at 160 if Canelo doesn't fight him, so why is he wasting his time there? And of course, I disagreed with that. I think if you stay in a division long enough, the fights will come. That being said, or Errol Spence, you know, this guy, he says he weighs 170 something when he's walking around and not fighting. He said it himself. There's that video of him fighting some fat guy in the streets, you know, doing like a bare knuckle sparring, hitting each other in the arms and the body. You can see he's competing with fat guys because he's 170 something pounds. The other thing is this, and I'm being a little facetious there, I hope nobody comes out and says like, oh, you're saying that because he spars fat people he's 170 pounds. No, that's not what I'm saying. But he said it himself that he weighs about 170 something, same like Terence Crawford, which is why I would be very excited to see both of those guys fight, because they're both almost the same size. At least I think they are, according to the weights that they've put forth, and they're both tremendously skilled. But again, Errol Spence, he's a very big guy. I don't think the Terence Crawford fight happens. You know, the Keith Thurman, he's MIA. He's in the Himalayas becoming a monk or something, trying to heal his shoulder. Who knows if he's going to come back? So that fight is, if Errol Spence is sticking around at 147 for that fight, it's a big risk. So what else is there at 147 for him? Sean Porter versus Danny Garcia. Again, I'm just following the logic here, same logic that other people apply to other fighters. Why is Errol Spence waiting around to fight Danny Garcia and Sean Porter? I mean, Danny Garcia, the guy that everybody says is shit, the guy that everybody says is lucky to get some of his big wins, The guy that was almost run over by Lamont Peterson in the last 2 rounds. If he was almost run out of the ring by Lamont Peterson in the last 2 rounds of their fight, what do you think Errol Spence is going to do to him? So if Danny Garcia wins that fight, do you really want to see Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence? And if Shawn Porter wins, this is the guy that lost to Kell Brook. Same guy Errol Spence already beat. And he lost to Keith Thurman. I know some people say, well, I think Keith Thurman deserved the decision. Well, he didn't get the decision. It was a competitive fight. Could have gone either way. Personally, I thought Keith Thurman won that fight. So that's Shawn Porter. His biggest fights, 2 losses. You know, you really want to see him in the ring against Errol Spence? Again, I'm just following the logic that other people have said. Why isn't Errol Spence moving up to 154? You know, the Terence Crawford fight probably isn't going to happen because of Top Rank in the PBC. They don't like to do business. So who knows if that fight's going to happen? Who knows, like I said, if the Keith Thurman fight's going to happen? So is Errol Spence draining and boiling himself down to 147 for Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia? Why isn't he moving up? Why doesn't he fight Charlo or Jarrett Hurd? Is he avoiding those guys? Is he scared of them? Again, I'm just asking the same questions that other people would ask of other fighters. Because it seems to me, if I follow that logic, it seems to me Errol Spence is afraid of moving up to 154, fighting people his own size. Fighting young guys. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, come on, BDA. If Errol Spence can make 147, then that's to his credit. It's legal, right? He can make 147. He deserves to be fighting 147. Let me tell you something. I can hold my breath underwater for 2 minutes. Doesn't mean I belong underwater. I'm not Aquaman. You know what I mean? You gotta come up to the surface at some point. And that's what Errol Spence is doing. He's boiling himself. He's holding his breath. Or his weight, rather, if you want to put it that way, at 147. Why doesn't he just go up already and fight fucking Jarrett Hurd and Charlo? In fact, some people have said in our podcast that he could go up to 160 and knock out Canelo Alvarez. That's what people have said. So why is he wasting his time at 147? Why doesn't he just move up to 154 and 160 and get himself some big fights against Canelo and against Triple G? Should be easy fights, right? I mean, the way some people talk about Errol Spence already is that it's just a matter of time that, you know, before he gets in the ring with Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman, Terence Crawford and knocks them all out. That's the way people have said it. So why waste his time at 147 and not just move up to 154 or 160 already? Again, do I necessarily agree with what I just said? I don't know. I leave it up to you guys. I'm just presenting an argument here, following the same logic that people applied to Gennady Golovkin a couple years ago. Alright, so tell us what you think, tell us what we got right, tell us what we got wrong. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out our Spreaker page where you can download the podcast. Check out our Patreon page, see if you like what we do. Donate a couple of small donations to keep us going. Get that call-in show off the ground, and we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care.